What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. It is your boy Coach Kai. Back at it again with another banger. If you are new here, as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for the algorithm, fellas. Everybody's doing good and great. Today's video, I want to get in a little bit about dieting. I know a lot of people go through different types of things with dieting. A lot of people struggle with it. A lot of people's got their own opinions on it. And some people don't diet like myself. A lot of people have asked me about my diet and my nutrition as far as, what I eat on a day-to-day basis. Have I ever dieted? Have I ever been keto? Because they wonder how do I have so much mass for my size, being 6'8", about 235 currently. So I just wanted to give y'all some game on it, some tips and tricks that's helped me to get the physique that I have had all these years and overcome, and to finally get to this point. But we're not done yet. Obviously, still more work to do. As always, the grind does not stop. Consistency is key, and that's what we try to bring to this channel and preach. So first one I want to talk about is meal prepping, fellas. Meal prepping, of course, is really, really good. But I think a lot of people, you get burnt out from meal prepping because you prep the same meals every single week, right? And so what I've noticed is when you switch things up throughout the week, so let's say I meal prepped on Sunday, I usually meal prep for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Right when that Wednesday hits and I end my first meal prep, I usually switch it up, buy something different, no matter if I had chicken breast and rice like people normally do when they meal prep for the first few days, and then the next few days I'll have maybe like ground beef and rice, right? Or asparagus, and depending on what your goals are, as far as, are you trying to gain weight, are you trying to put on mass, are you trying to lose weight, all of that comes into play, right? But when it comes down to it, throughout the week, once that Wednesday hits, I try to switch up my meals as far as what I eat, so that I won't have the same thing 7 days a week, every single month, right? Because that's when the burnout comes, and that's when you start to have these cravings for different things, and that's when the diet starts to slightly fall off, and then you fall off your diet completely. You start to crave, fast food, restaurant food, all these processed foods, right, that are so-called cheat meals. You start to crave them because you've been eating the same thing for 7 days a week, that it's like you're just going crazy. Like you can't control it no more, because you're like, I can't do this no more, right? So what's helped me in the past, and what I still do to this day, is once that Wednesday hits, I try to switch up the meal plan for Thursday, Friday, and on Saturday, depending on how I dieted throughout the week, I usually on Saturday will stick to the meal plan, and on Sunday I'll usually have my cheat meal. So no matter if it's brunch, that's like kind of like my cheat day. No matter if it's brunch, but I don't pig out, fellas. A lot of y'all be pigging out. Don't be pigging out, G. Right? So you still gotta have some type of discipline. No, I'm not saying you go eating like 5,000 calories of just nonsense and junk, right, fellas? Like, we still want to have that full discipline, and how we think, and how we'll be mindful of what you're putting into your body. But for brunch, I might have like maybe some French toast with some eggs and some potatoes, something like that. Something where it's still kind of protein in there, but still got that kind of sweetness to kind of clench that sweet tooth. Because I'm a big sweet tooth person, right? And that's something that I even struggle with to this day. Is like, you ask my mom, anybody that knows me, like I eat some cookies and a whole box of cookies gonna be gone, fellas. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's me. Like, I'm in it with y'all. I understand the struggles and how dieting is definitely hard, but once you start to realize, and the more you start to care about what you put in your body, the easier it starts to get, is what I try to tell people, especially just like going to the gym. In the beginning stages, it's hard. In the beginning stages, you don't want to get up. In the beginning stages, after work, you just want to sleep, or you just want to go home, veg out, eat that ice cream, eat the comfortable food that makes you feel comfortable, right? That makes you actually weaker as a man, instead of actually putting those good, unprocessed foods that are going to feed you protein and hitting the gym and actually doing the things that you need to do consistently as a man to become that top value, high quality man that you want to become, right? Dieting is not easy, but that's why, the ones that actually understand, when you have that solid physique, and I talked about this in some of my other videos, not to get off topic, but when you have that solid, lean type of physique, V-taper, you get a lot of respect, because other men realize how hard it is, right? And it's other men that are in shape, obviously not other men that are obese. So you always want to keep that in mind, is that, you are how you present yourself really matters, not even just to women, but just to also other men. And that's how you also network with different people. You never know who you might meet and who you might interact with. Fellas, I met so many top level individuals just off of, how I look, people coming up to me, no matter what it may be, who it is, right? I've done this. So it's definitely a game changer once you change your physique and really change your eating habits, and everything starts to kind of grasp in front of you in your own eyes. But dieting is definitely not easy. It's not tough, but that's why the real ones who actually eat clean throughout the week and actually on their stuff, the results always show. The hard work always gets put in and it never gets left out. Weakness that I see a lot of you guys doing is not staying busy. I noticed that when I started to stay busy and started to be more productive with my time and not just laying around vegging out, especially when you get off your 9 to 5 or wherever that off time may be, is a lot of you guys are relaxed. And that's where the weight starts to gain, because you start to crave all these different types of sweets and all these different types of oily foods instead of actually trying to cook. Man, I know some people, man, I got a couple friends who, never even used their stove or oven before. They moved into these new spots in Zupaz and they never used them. Fellas, that's how you don't want to be like that. Use your resources the best at your ability, right? There's no reason for you to be eating all these oily foods throughout the week. Make time. People say I don't got time. Make time, G. Plenty of times where I didn't have time, but I made time, right? If I knew I had to work early in the morning, I set time aside, on Sunday or whatever day that may be throughout the week. Usually on Sunday for me, since that's usually like my reset day. Most people, it's their reset day, but make time throughout the week, no matter if it's late at night on that Sunday, following day, you let the food kind of get, the seasoning kind of sit in there, so, you can make it the next morning, get up early in the morning to make it, so you have, some fresh steak or some fresh chicken, whatever it may be, ground beef. Whatever it may be, does not take long. It just takes effort and discipline. You have to want to do it. Nobody can want to do it for you, right? So a lot of you guys, you have too much time in your hands. So keeping yourself busy with, things that are going to kind of distract your mind off of the food, because a lot of you guys crave the food so much that it's like that's all you can think about is the sweets and the food, right? So another big one for me was replacing the sweet tooth with fruit. I love fruit. Now, fruit can turn into sugar. If you're trying to lose weight, it can turn into sugar, like most know. Like if I had one banana and I had 2 and 3, right, that's when it starts to get, and I'm trying to lose weight, that's when it starts to get edgy, right? But when you just have that one banana, just to kind of clinch that sweet tooth that you have, it's way better than eating that cookie that's like 500 plus calories, just one alone, right? And so these are different types of tricks and hacks that I try to use, with trying to get my physique, and eating watermelon, strawberries, pineapple, all these different mangoes, all these different types of fruits that have on the sweeter side, you can kind of replace, instead of eating the junk food with twice the sugar, and then you're losing the gains at the same time, right? Your body, watermelon is like, I love watermelon. A lot of us love watermelon, right? And watermelon is really good because it's basically just water, right? Hence why it's watermelon, fellas. So you just gotta find those different hacks for you to kind of get your mind off it and also keeping yourself busy. But that's gonna be for today's video, fellas. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Drop below any types of hacks and tricks that are kind of helping you guys on your diet journey, or helping you get that solid V-line physique. As always, we out.